Diving into Bangkok today. 5 days in Bangkok. You shared some stuff about Eddie and Mark.
Yeah, Eddie and Mark.
And I know these guys are like Southeast Asia experts, right?
Oh, yeah, they've really got their finger on the pulse over there. I mean, Eddie's traveled and vlogged in over 18 countries, and Mark actually lived in the Philippines, Thailand, and Malaysia for like over 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and they were even recognized as like world's best travel vloggers.
No kidding.
By Endless Luxury, so you know they're legit.
So these guys are the real deal then.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we're tapping into their expertise today to help people plan their first 5 days in Bangkok. And really, we want to help people kind of navigate those first few days, like, avoiding those common pitfalls that people might make when they first arrive in a new city. And they really focus on avoiding this big confusion around Bangkok's airports.
Yeah, that's a great starting point. It's a classic travel headache, and Bangkok is notorious for it.
Right.
Especially with its rapid growth. They've got 2 airports now.
Okay, so let's break that down. Bangkok has 2 airports.
2 airports.
Give us the rundown.
Okay, so you've got Don Mueang, that's DMK. And you've got Suvarnabhumi, which is BKK. And booking the wrong one can be a real pain, especially if your hotel's closer to the other one, right? Like, Eddie and Mark actually told the story about their friend who landed at Don Mueang, but their hotel was all the way over by Suvarnabhumi. And that meant, like, multiple taxi transfers, a big headache.
Not the way you want to start your trip.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, okay, tell us a little bit about Don Mueang DMK. When would someone be flying into Don Mueang?
Well, Don Mueang, that's mainly for your budget airlines and your local flights. So, like, if you're hopping around within Thailand, coming from Phuket or Chiang Mai, you're probably going to land at DMK.
Okay, so the internal Thailand flights are going into DMK. What about Suvarnabhumi BKK? That sounds like the main international hub, right?
Exactly. That's the big one. The main international airport?
Yeah.
You're going to see your big airlines coming in there, your Thai Airways, your Air France, your KLM. So if you're flying in from, Germany, London, you're probably landing at BKK. And actually, Eddie and Mark specifically recommend BKK for most international travelers because it's just got way better connections to those tourist areas.
Right. That makes sense. After a long international flight, you want to get where you're going. Okay, so they also talked about Suvarnabhumi. I'm saying that right?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay. Versus, like, they said Swami.
Oh, yeah. That's just the English spelling trying to phonetically capture the Thai pronunciation.
Right.
But you're going to hear locals say Swanapum.
Okay.
Like they kind of drop that hard R sound.
Swanapum.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so BKK Swanapum, same thing.
Exactly.
For most international arrivals who want easy access to, like, the Sukhumvit area.
All right. All those touristy spots like Soi 33 Nana, Sokiekamai, you want to be at BKK.
All right, so major takeaway for you listening. Double check your airport code. If you're flying international and you want to be near those key tourist spots, it's BKK Suvarnabhumi. That'll save you a lot of hassle.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you've landed at Suvarnabhumi. Mark talks about how great the transport links are from that airport.
Yeah, he really emphasizes that. Like, you've got your taxis, of course, but also trains that go right into the city, even a free bus service.
Free bus.
For certain routes.
That's great to know.
It is. And then once you're in Bangkok, he's a huge fan of the BTS SkyTrain and the MRT subway.
Okay.
He says they're so cheap and convenient, like 50 cents to hop between multiple stops with a top-up card. They call it a rabbit card.
Wow, that's amazing.
It is.
So much cheaper than a lot of Western cities.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, so that makes getting around and exploring really affordable.
Right, and easy.
Okay, so you've landed at the right airport. You've got your transportation sorted out. Let's jump into their itinerary for the first 5 days. So day 1, temples and the Grand Palace.
Yeah. They recommend starting with Wat Tramit, which is the Temple of the Golden Buddha.
Okay.
It houses this just absolutely incredible, solid gold Buddha statue.
Wow.
Yeah. Eddie said it's amazing for photos.
I bet. All right, so after that, you've seen the Golden Buddha. Where do they send us next?
Okay, so next up is Wat Pho,
Okay.
the Temple of the Reclining Buddha. And this one's famous for its size. It's massive. The reclining Buddha statue is just huge.
Wow. Okay, and what I like about their recommendation is they put these 2 temples together so you can do them both in one morning.
Yeah, smart move.
Beat the heat, right?
Exactly.
Get it done before it gets too hot.
And Eddie actually had a specific tip for this one.
Okay.
He said, consider using a selfie stick.
A selfie stick.
Yeah, because the statue is so long that it's hard to capture the whole thing in a regular photo.
Oh, that's a good tip. Okay, so day 1, Golden Buddha, reclining Buddha, and do it in the morning to stay cool.
Exactly.
Smart. Okay, day 2 sounds like we're shifting gears a little bit.
Yeah, day 2 is all about shopping and markets.
Okay.
So they specifically recommend checking out the night markets,
Okay.
like on Nut Night Market.
On nuts?
Yeah, Mark really loves this one. He talks about the street food being incredible and so affordable, like all sorts of exotic dishes, barbecue, fresh fruit, smoothies, noodles, cooked right there in front of you. And then there's this vibrant atmosphere and all these unique vendors. Eddie even mentioned seeing some places with tanks of fresh seafood.
Tanks of seafood at a night market.
Yeah,
That
but
sounds like an experience.
it does. It's just a really cool blend of local life and, tourist attractions.
Yeah, and Eddie mentioned deep-fried food and squid. Did they say anything else about the food there?
They did. Mark talked about how each stall offers something different so you can get a real taste of Bangkok's street food scene.
Okay.
They mentioned prawn salad with live prawns.
Live prawns.
Yeah, and a really great waffle vendor that Eddie loved.
So it sounds like the night markets are a real must-do.
They are. It's a big part of Thai evening life. Locals and tourists all mixing together.
Okay, so from the night markets, they then send us to Icon, which is a huge jump.
It is. That's your luxury shopping experience.
Okay.
It's this really modern, high-end mall across the Chao Phraya River.
Okay.
It's got all sorts of shops, dining options, even sky bars with city views.
Wow.
Yeah, Eddie was really impressed with the exotic cars on display, like Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Ducatis.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and Mark mentioned that you can actually do luxury car test drives in the Ramkhamhaeng area.
Luxury car test drive. Okay, so day 2, you go from the energy of the night markets, and then you head to the high-end retail therapy of Icon.
Right. It's a real mix.
It is. Okay, so day 3, Jim Thompson House.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So the Jim Thompson House is a museum dedicated to the history of Thai silk.
Okay.
And the story of its founder, this guy named Jim Thompson, it's really well located too. It's near the MBK shopping mall and the National Stadium BTS station.
So easy to get to. They talked about Jim Thompson being like a really interesting character.
He was. He was an American architect who was like this huge figure in reviving the Thai silk industry after World War II. He created these really high-end fabrics, even designed traditional costumes for the Thai royal family. And then, get this, he disappeared in Malaysia in 1967.
It disappeared.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just vanished. Still a mystery today.
So that's a little spooky.
It is. And the famous Jim Thompson brand that was created in his honor?
Okay.
And the house itself is beautiful.
Right.
It's a great example of traditional Thai architecture. Plus, they've got a restaurant there serving up delicious Thai dishes at really good prices.
So you can get some local food.
You can. It's more than just a museum. It's a window into Thai culture and history.
It sounds like it.
Okay.
So Jim Thompson House for some culture and history and good food.
Mm-hmm.
What else did they say about day 3?
Well, they also suggested exploring Talat Noi,
Okay.
which they described as like a hipster district.
A hipster district.
Yeah, near the Chao Phraya River.
It's got a really unique vibe. Blends old and new, trendy, up and coming. They said there's a lot of cool street art and cafes popping up there.
So that sounds like a good place to just kind of wander around and to soak it all in.
Absolutely.
Okay, day 4, they call World Heritage Day.
Yes.
So what are we seeing on this day?
Their top recommendation for day 4 is Watcharun, the Temple of Dawn.
Okay.
And this one's super unique. It's decorated with all these pieces of broken pottery and porcelain.
Broken pottery.
Yeah, and it's colorful. So it looks amazing both during the day and when it's all lit up at night.
That's cool.
And they said that you can even rent traditional Thai costumes to wear while you're exploring the temple.
That's a fun idea.
It is.
So definitely great photo ops there.
Right.
They also mentioned a David Beckham monument.
Yeah, Eddie threw that one in there.
Is that like a World Heritage thing?
Well, no, not exactly.
Okay.
But it's at the Rajamangala National Stadium.
Okay.
So, for football fans, that might be a fun stop. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so we're on for some unique culture and history and maybe a quick stop at the Beckham Monument for the sports fans out there. Now, day 5, they call it Family Fun or Nightlife Day. That's right. So that's catering to a couple of different styles.
Exactly. So for families traveling with kids, they suggest checking out a local water park.
Okay.
And they said that the entry fees are way more affordable than similar attractions in other countries like the Caribbean.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah. Mark specifically recommended Siam Park,
So Siam Park.
also known as Sun Siam. It's about 45 minutes outside the city center, so you can get there by bus or taxi.
Okay, so that's a good option for families to have some fun and cool off.
Yeah.
What about for people who maybe aren't traveling with kids?
Well, Eddie and Mark suggest checking out Bangkok's nightlife.
Right.
They didn't go into specifics about bars or clubs, but, Bangkok is famous for its nightlife.
Yeah.
There's definitely something for everyone.
Yeah. No shortage of options there.
Yeah.
So there you have it. We just did a deep dive into planning your first 5 days in Bangkok, courtesy of the amazing Eddie and Mark.
Yeah, hopefully you're feeling a lot more prepared.
Right. You know about the airport situation. You know how to get around the city. You've got a great itinerary to start with.
Exactly.
So from that crucial airport choice, BKK or Suvarnabhumi for those key tourist spots,
Right.
to the must-see temples like Wat Tramet and Wat Pho,
Don't forget those night markets.
the night markets,
Like on Nut
the Jim Thompson House,
and Waterroon.
What a Rune. So much to see.
There is.
And day 5 is flexible, so you can tailor it to what you want to do.
Exactly.
And it's clear Bangkok is a city of contrasts.
Yeah.
Ancient traditions next to modern life, all mixed together.
Absolutely.
So as you're thinking about your trip, what parts of this itinerary really stand out to you?
Yeah. What are you most excited for?
And what do you want to explore further when you get there? This deep dive is just the start of your Bangkok adventure.
That's right. Have an amazing time.